Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we have another Spyderco Showdown. Been pretty excited to do this one. It's a battle of the 3-inchers. Pause. But yes, we're taking a look at 3 different Spyderco models and a few variants of each. These are all around 3 inches. You got the Native 5 series here. You got the Sage 5 and 6 right here. The Para 3 lightweight and the regular Para 3 G10. Now, I think this 3-inch size is one of the most popular for EDC out there. For me, in the summertime, this is my most carried size. Sometimes I do go a little bit bigger depending on weight, like the Edgerati is a good example of that. This still carries really well for a larger knife. Sometimes I'll go a little bit smaller. But when I'm wearing shorts in the summer, I tend to like around this size. I live in Montana, so then obviously winter weather, you're more bundled up, you have more pocket room usually, so on and so forth. And yes, there are definitely other Spyderco knives out there that are around this 3 inches. We could talk about the Delica a little bit as well, but these 3 models are just so close in handle size, the blade shape. So I think that they're really worth pitting head to head. And I see a lot of people will talk about, the Para 3 versus Sage series, but sometimes the Native 5 gets left out, and I don't necessarily think it should. So we're going to go through that a bit too. So first off, let's talk ergonomics. That's really where the Native 5 shines. It just feels so good in the hand. You have a little bit of a palm swell here, more of a neutral handle shape, but also has the best choil out of all 3 of them in my opinion, and you just feel very, very locked in. It doesn't have that same hump that the others do, so you're actually able to put your thumb a little more forward when you're in that choked up spot, which I like. On some of the others there, like for example, Para 3, you can choke up. The choil's not as deep, but you can choke up. But sometimes I feel like my fat thumb is pushed back a little bit more than I want it to be. And you can kind of get over there, but you got to be over that hump, if that makes sense. I do wish that the jimping extended a little bit more here on the Native 5, and also not a fan of the pocket clip on this one. Obviously, you can swap them out, but besides that, this is the winner to me when it comes to ergonomics. Gives you enough handle to hold it back here as well, but the choke up on this is just fantastic. Now, number 2, for ergonomics definitely is going to be the Sage 5 or 6. I have enough room back here to get 4 fingers. I have larger hands, size XXL, just in case you're wondering. I think that matters here. And the choke up feels really good on this one as well. They're very, very similar handle shapes if you look at these two. I mean, look at that. This has a little bit more of a palm swell, probably. The choil feels slightly deeper to me, but it's so close. But as far as, putting your thumb up on the blade, I really like that on the Native 5. I can move it up just a little bit more than you can on something like the Sage here. So Sage is definitely number 2 ergonomics-wise. And Sage has the best pocket clip out of all 3 out of the box, in my opinion. I really like their wire clips, and it doesn't give you the hot spots that the regular clips do. Now, the Para 3 is a fantastic knife. A lot of people, this is their favorite. For me, as far when I'm holding it back here, you got that hump right there that my pinky sits on. And I can still get all 4, but it's just not as comfortable to me. And the choil's not as deep on this one. Like, I love the Para 2, and that one definitely fits my hand a lot better. Also, the clip that comes on the Para 3 isn't great either, but I already replaced that with a Lynch clip. So now just talking ergos here, it would be 1, 2, 3. Let's talk about the blades a little bit. The Sage here is definitely the sliciest knife of the bunch. It's a bit taller here and thinner behind the edge. So, maximum sliciness, you got to give it to the Sage. Leaf-shaped, drop point-ish, Spyderco-esque blade, but as you can see, a lot taller there. The Native 5 is more of an all-purpose, drop point type of knife. It's a little bit more robust through the tip here, a little bit thicker behind the edge. Blade stock is a bit thicker as well, if you can see that. Para 3 has that classic, paramilitary shape to it. The tip sits a little bit lower. It's a little bit more thinned out, but really good for precision cuts. So, you're somebody that wants to replace a box cutter and you use that tip a lot and you want it to be low and have a really precise cut, this might be the one for you. As far as winners and losers, we're kind of splitting hairs here. If you want maximum sliciness, I would go with the Sage 5 or 6. If you want a lower, more thinned out tip, very precise cuts, I would go with the Para 3. And if you want more of an all-arounder workhorse type of blade shape, the Native 5. As far as my favorites here, oh, it's so hard. I'm probably going Sage, Native 5, Para 3. Again, though, all of them great for EDC. Harder use, though, you're somebody that, is worried about snapping a tip or something, then I would go with the Native. Let's talk about the lock. Now, I think the Native 5's lockback here is probably the strongest. That doesn't mean all lockbacks are as strong as the compression locks, definitely not. But the way that Spyderco has designed this, probably the strongest of the bunch. You have a lot of metal on metal in there. There's been testing out there. All three of these locks for EDC are more than strong enough and up towards the strong, side of, the plethora of locks that are out there. And so some people might disagree with me on this, but I think that the lock up here on the Native 5 is probably the strongest, but we are splitting hairs a bit. Now, as far as my favorite lock, I got to go with the Sage 5 or Sage 6 as far as just how the compression lock is implemented. It's just got fantastic action, very, very consistent lockup. These things out of the box are just always fantastic. A lot of times with the Golden Colorado Spyderco compression locks, you do have to fiddle with it a little bit. Or sometimes the centering's not great, sometimes there's more lock stick, so on and so forth. You do get some lock stick from the stuff, in Tai Chung here, but just always seems more consistent to me. Action on this is fantastic, the best out of the bunch. On the Sage 5, it just has one detent ball in it, and so it's a drop shut when you go to unlock it. On the Sage 6, there is a second detent ball. Some people will take that out. I don't really feel the need to, but if you want drop shut performance, then do it. With this one, you kind of got to whip it closed a bit. I don't mind that. But even then, with the buttons, sometimes you're just not pressing that liner away far enough to get that drop shut, unless you get to the point where, you're getting some blade play. I don't want blade play. There's people out there that will tune their PM2s, Para 3s, super, super loose, just so they can get that drop shut action. I don't care about that as much. I want good, flick out action, but I really don't mind unlocking and whipping it closed. And keep in mind, I'm left-handed, so that's why it looks a little bit wonky, but this is just how I unlock a compression lock. Notice I'll put my pinky over here to kind of stabilize it. I'll also sometimes do this, and you can unlock it like that and whip it closed. So if we're talking overall, lock strength here, and do some research on this if you don't believe me, I'm thinking Native 5 wins, even with the no liners on this. But you have a full, lock bar right here, then a backspacer. Still feels super duper strong with how they build it. Spyderco took the liners out of these years back, but the scales are like a thicker slab. So, with the G10 version, this is the micarta version, but the G10 version, a little bit thicker scales. And even with the lightweight version here, it does not have the inset liners. But because of the design here, you got the lock bar, then a backspacer. On this one, it's an FRN backspacer, but on this one, you have a metal backspacer. I think that it keeps it more than strong enough. But to each their own. I know linerless just sometimes throws some people off, and really depends on what you care about. It did, take weight down on those, but some people would have preferred the more weight and still having the liners. But anyway, as far as lock strength, like I said, I think the back lock here, but as far as just manipulating the lock, how it feels, I'm going with the Sages. And just the consistency, really good, strong lockup, and just feels great out of the box. With the Para 3, still fantastic too. On this one, it's pretty good, and this one did come centered out of the box, but sometimes I notice just a little more lock stick on the Golden Colorado compression locks, and sometimes you'll have to tune them a little bit more. Now, how would I rank the carry on these? It's all good. None of them are very large knives. I do think that the Para 3 kind of disappears in the pocket a little bit more than the Sage series. The blade here does bulge out more, as you can see right there. But the Native 5s and the Para 3 are a little bit thicker than the Sage. But again, I'm splitting hairs. I'll give it to the Para 3, but it doesn't really matter with any of these. They all feel very similar, and none of them super heavy or anything. And I kind of already talked about action there. Like, I would give it to the Sage series. But keep in mind, I think a lot of people are turned off by backlocks, and it's not as fidgety of action as a compression lock by any means. But I can still manipulate this with one hand and flick it out like that, close it like that, boom, or you can thumb roll it like that and then close it. Sometimes I've heard of people getting these where they're tighter and they have to make some adjustments, but the few that I have all feel pretty good. Here's the lightweight version. I can do a reverse flick and then go to close it, and boom. Also, with the backlock, they always seem to be just nice and centered to me and just feel very, very solid. So it depends on what you're into. But I think a lot of people are dissuaded from the Native 5 because of that back lock. And if they made a compression lock version of this, it'd probably be even more popular. Also, let's go ahead and weigh these real quick because I didn't do that earlier and probably should have. So the Native 5 Crew Carta version, you're looking at 2.85 ounces. I believe with the G10 versions of these, it's about 3.1 ounces. 2.95 now. The lightweight Native 5, 2.45 ounces, so not a huge difference there. The Sage 6 here with the S30V and the G10 with the laminate carbon fiber, 3.35 ounces. I don't have a Sage lightweight right now. Let's check out the Sage 5 and see if there's a difference. 3.2 ounces. Parrot 3 G10, 3.35 ounces. And Parrot 3 lightweight salt, 2.4 ounces. Now, when it comes to fit and finish, I kind of already talked about this earlier. I think we got to give it to the Sage series. And they aren't made in the US though. So that depends, does that matter to you or not? But the Taichung, Taiwan Spyderco factory just does an amazing job. Everyone I've ever had from there feels fantastic. Centering's always very, very good. No need to adjust it usually. Just right out of the box, you start flicking it, breaks in a little bit, and they do a fantastic job on these. I do think Spyderco's US factory does a fantastic job on the Native series here. Fit and finish on this is really, really good. Some people will oil these scales. I haven't done it, but I might at some point. I'm not sure. I just don't want it to get too dark. I think they do a good job with their sharpening on these as well. Keep in mind, all of these blades have this little, nub right here. Some of them stick out farther than others, and some people don't like that for sharpening, but, people have been using Spydercos for years and years and years, and they are very used to sharpening around that, and you'll see, paramilitaries out there that are sharpened up to here. So definitely doable, but some people don't like that they don't have a sharpening choil. Now, I've had a lot of Parrot 3s over the years, and overall, I think fit and finish is pretty damn good with them, but occasionally I will get one that's a little bit funky. This one's totally fine. I had a Maximet one for years that I carried. That one was good as well, but then occasionally you get some that are a little bit off, and I'm not a huge fan of the lightweight Parrot 3 series. They only have a washer on one side, and so trying to center these perfectly is just near impossible, and I don't think they have super great flick out action. You can do it, but the detent's a little bit soft on these to me. Overall, I think it's a little soft on the Parrot 3 G10 as well, but I'm just not a huge fan of the Parrot 3 lightweight. I like the PM2 lightweight. I think they did a great job on that one. Also, want to mention, I think a lot of people will say, oh, I'm just going to get the lightweight and then I'll put scales on them. Well, usually the scales for the lightweights are a little bit more, like from Applied Weapons Tech, and sometimes they're a little more fiddly and harder to do. Like I put scales on my lightweight here 15V, and it's not impossible, but you just have to do a little bit more to really tune it up, and you're just changing a lot more than, with the G10 versions. So keep that in mind. If you are buying it to put scales on it, I would probably just go with the G10 version. The scales are usually a little bit cheaper for the G10 versions as well. I don't have a Sage 5 lightweight right now. I have held one of those before, and I do think that they're better done than the Parrot 3 lightweight. And I think the Native 5 lightweights are done really, really well. They feel super duper solid. Very nice grip to them too. And so, if you wanted to go a little bit cheaper or you like their FRN, I would go with this one. I think they do a fantastic job. Now, as far as the platform goes, like if you are somebody that just wants to do a lot of modifications, a lot of aftermarket stuff, obviously the most support here is for the Parrot 3. You can still find scales out there like Rips Garage Tech, AWT for the Native series and for the Sage series here, but just there's a lot more for the Parrot 3. So keep that in mind. Now, as far as pricing goes, when it comes to the G10 versions, all kind of similar. I think the Parrot 3 is probably your cheapest. It's like $195 to $200. This is without sales, of course. Sage 5 here is usually around like $205, $210, and I think the Sage 6 isn't much different from that. And the G10 Native 5 versions usually are in that like 210-ish range, I believe, too. But there are lightweights, but if you're going to go with one of the lightweights, like I said, I would go with the the Native 5 here. And the lightweight for the Sage is a little bit more money. So like you can get these in that 140 to 150, same with these. But the lightweight for the Sage is more like 170-ish. At that point, you might just want to go up to the G10. As far as steel options go, there are a ton of them out there. You know, the Para 3 probably wins when it comes to that, but there's also a lot of different steel options for the Native 5, and the Sage is getting more and more as well. So now I think all these knives are great. And so I think anyone who has one of these as their favorite could make a really compelling argument for it. Of course, when you make a video like this, somebody's going to disagree with you. Somebody out there who loves the Para 3 the most disagrees with me, and so on and so forth. But that's what's so great about hobbies and having a lot of different options. If you want like just the refined, slicey EDC knife, ultimate EDC knife, I would really go for like the Sage 6 here, or the Sage 5. But these are just so well done. But again, they're not made in the USA, so that might matter to you. Even though now with steel, even with the ones that are made in the Golden, Colorado plant, they still have to import some of the raw steel now because Crucible is gone. But that steel does then go to Niagara to, you know, they roll it and cut it up basically, and then, you know, it goes to the Golden, Colorado facility where they grind the blades, manufacture all the components and assemble them. So more of your money is obviously staying in the US with the Golden, Colorado ones than with the Taichung, Taiwan ones. If you want like the workhorse, I'd probably go with the Native 5. I think that this backlock is just fantastic. A lot of people don't like backlocks, but don't knock this one until you've at least tried it. It's fantastic. The tip's a little bit more durable on this. Blade stock's fairly thick on it. And I think that this one's just a great, EDC workhorse. As far as the Para 3 series, this is like, the enthusiast favorite a lot of times because of all the different options in blade steels, in scales, so on and so forth. And I totally get it. Also, these are great if you want a nice refined tip that's a little bit lower, and it's a fantastic EDC knife too. As far as me and what I'm choosing, if I can only have one, it's so tough. I think the Ergos are the best on the Native 5, and that's a huge thing for me. So, I go back and forth on this every day, but I would probably say Native 5 if I only got one. But sometimes I wake up and I want to choose the Sage here. So I know that that's a cop-out. It really is. If you're more into fidgeting and you want just that fantastic action, definitely the Sage series. The Sage 5 will drop shut for you as well. And it has a great slicey EDC blade. But for like a one and done all-arounder, I'm probably still going for the Native 5. It's tough, guys. These two are so close to me, and the Para 3 is fantastic, but the big thing that holds me back more from it is the Ergos. It doesn't fit my hand as well. But you'll notice, like in my starting over video, I chose the PM2 here, and that does fit my hand well. So I'm not a paramilitary hater. So I think that's it, guys. Definitely let me know down in the comments which one you're picking and why. And I will put links for these in the description. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and check out one of my others. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching.